Welcome, friends. This is Emmy. I'm so glad to see you today. And we're having a session of brain yoga. And you are on the Zen with Emmy YouTube channel. I'm so glad you're here. I have great things to show you and fun to have with you today. So let's get started. We're going to be using a 4.5 by 4.5 tile, which is just a piece of paper. And so use whatever you have. Cardstock is great. 4.5 by 4.5 is also 11.5 square centimeters. So we'll use that in just a minute. This is where we're going, kind of. I changed it up because I can't help it. That's the way I am. I'm a retired teacher as well as a CZT, Certified Zentangle Teacher, and I always change things up. But I wanted you to see what it could look like if you chose to apply color. So I am going to show you how to do something like this. It is so much fun. So this is a pattern called MUMSY, and on the outside I've developed a little ring, or look at that fun border, and we're using a pattern called poke leaf. And then of course we have to have some dragonflies that really want the MUMSY. I also thought I'd bring this today to let you know how I use this. Usually when I finish a tile, when I've taught my class, I buy this at the Dollar Tree or the dollar store for very inexpensive, maybe $1.25. I pick up a bunch so that I can give some away too. And I like to stand the project that I did on this for the week and enjoy it. So it looks kind of like this. Obviously it's not going to be flat for you, but you get the idea. In case you're interested. And then I do that every week. I add a new one to it. Funny story, but I'll tell you later. I'm going to use my Micron 01 pen because that's what I have on hand today. I have a regular pencil and I have my blender stump. I have my eraser in case I need it, which I don't know if I will or not. And then I also have a piece of chocolate because kisses are real important and I might need a little energy or a little pause here or there. You might too. And then I also have a handy mint in case the other things aren't quite enough. Do you know what I mean? So let's get started. Turn your paper over, grab your pencil, and put pencil dots in each corner. In this way, we divide up our canvas so that it is not so much white space to look at. And then I'm trying to work lightly, but a little darker for you. I connect them in a very wonky style. This is just so that I have something on the canvas to work with, so that it's not just like, oh my gosh, what do I do with all this? So I'm going to make MUMSY right here in the middle, and I really don't feel like I need to have anything to mark it, an orb, but whatever. I will put that in there in case I need it. So these are the two patterns that I explained to you we're going to do today. MUMSY is by Sandy Steen Bartholomew. She's been a CZT for a long time, and MUMSY is going to be on the job training. Poke leaf is from Zentangle headquarters, and I'll also show you that on the job. To begin with MUMSY, I'm going to make a little wiggle here, and a second wiggle out, and a third wiggle, and a fourth wiggle. Now you could do more if you liked. That's just kind of an amoeba shape, don't you think? And what I'm going to do then is connect. Watch. I'm going to go round. 1, 2 with half C's or half moon, 3 and 4. And then I'm going to go back and I'm going to do an inside aura. Or if you don't have enough room, you work too small, whatever, do an outside aura. Not a biggie. Just like that. I'm going to put some whiskers in here to give the illusion of a fold. Now that I've got that, I'm going to go from the top of this one to the top of this one with larger one. Mirror it at any time you're ready. This is a very repetitive pattern. So you're going to find that you're going to want to speed me up or pause me periodically. I would understand perfectly if you decide to. As you can see, some of my petals are a little bit off-centered, or I would call them wonky. And isn't that just like a flower anyway? Flowers can be quite wonky. They don't have perfect petals any more than our eyes always match or our ears match. Things are different. Nature doesn't want us to be perfect. What this means by going round and round like this, and the fact that some of these are going to be bigger than others and smaller and wonky, it means that I'm going to have to stop periodically and get perspective and make sure that I am not too far removed from having a roundish flower. I just love this pattern. I've been wanting to show you it and do something with you for quite some time. And it is the end of summer here where I am. And it's an absolutely gorgeous day. And a sweet little breeze is blowing here, and I hope it is where you are too. You can take this round and around until you feel ready to stop. Fun, huh? It's another one of those patterns that you just want to do over and over again. And I've even done a study of this pattern where I've done different things with it. Different treatments, I mean. I need to stop a minute and look and see what I've got going on and see if it's gotten itself wonky on one side or another. It's not as bad as it could be. I need a couple more here to round it up a little better. Maybe one or two over here. Oop, that's my printer. They do seem to have a mind of their own sometimes, don't they? Oh man, I could just fill the whole paper with this. Very, very pretty. This could use a little bit here. Be sure to pause me if you need to have a look and see how yours is doing. But it's just, again, like nature. Maybe it's not going to be just exactly symmetrical or rounded. Oh, I'm going to leave it right there. I would like to add a couple of leaves. My leaves are going to be quite large, and I can do them on any of the sides, of course. I can go from out to in or in to out. And then I'm going to come along and have a middle area. And then I'm going to put some veins in here. And I'm going to put that little thickening treatment that you see from time to time in Zentangle in the little interstices. I'm also going to decide that this leaf has kind of edges serrated. You see what I'm trying to do? Maybe badly. Any way you like. I would like to make another one off of here. Same. And a little bit of thickening, same as before. You see this is just kind of a little zigzag, right? Give the illusion that this is a serrated leaf. Now, MUMSY is completely made up pattern, so there's no way to know what a leaf for MUMSY would look like. So this is my leaf. Yours could look quite a bit different again. I'm going to add a couple of fescue. Fescue is like this, by the way, and fescue is headquarters. Just like this, with a knob at the top that you darken. And I think this needs a little fescue. Maybe a little bit different sized. Maybe some will be a little shorter and closer. Maybe you'll even decide you want another leaf. The opposite is kind of silly, I think. But I might add another leaf over here. Isn't it funny how things are different every time you do them? Especially with drawing. Very hard to replicate precision. Maybe. Darken. Thicken those areas, and then that serrated. And I think I'd like to add a couple more of those cute fescues. Then I want to take a little moment and add a few of those dragonflies that I showed you. So I think I need one here. And all that is a round head with a very elongated body that I also choose to darken. And then I make a bow, I believe, just a bow on either side. Now you could pencil this in if you prefer, but I don't think anybody's going to look that closely at your dragonfly or mine either to say, ooh, that one side is a little bit off of the other. And I do believe I have to have another one over here. Going to leave a little bit of light source there. Elongated body, darken. And then that darling little bow. And everybody knows exactly what it is. They know that's a butterfly. So isn't this the cutest pattern? Okay, let's take a minute and work on our outside. Well, what I'm going to do first is I have that pencil line. On the inside of the pencil line on all four sides, I'm going to put a heart like that. This is going to be my anchor piece right here. And then I'm going to come along all the way along and run a ribbon that's just like in and out the window or up and down, hills and valleys. Come out wherever you want. Don't worry about that. And I'm going to do a second line now. So what I'm going to do with this line is make it so that this all becomes more like a ribbon. Kind of watch a minute and then get started at your own speed. I'm going to come along like this. Every time I do a downstroke, I'm going to double it. Downstroke, double. Upstroke, downstroke, double. Up, downstroke, double. Again. Downstroke, double. And just travel up, downstroke, double. Downstroke, double. Isn't this pretty? Downstroke, double. I'm saying this for myself, I hope you know. I'm sure that you already have it. But if you want to get your Zen on, just turn the speaker off. Sorry. Downstroke, double. And that certainly creates that ribbon effect. So on the ribbon, I would like to put a series of the poke leaf that I told you about. So poke leaf is real simple. It's just like this. It's a stick and a stick, a smile or a straight line at the top. Either one is fine. A little bit below and then come out and in. My husband says this looks like a nose. He's not wrong. And then the next thing I'm going to do is right off the end here, I'm going to thicken one side. So that's either a straight line or a upside down smile, your choice of whichever you choose to make it. I am going to do that on both the top and bottom all the way around. My challenge is not to work too small. Everybody has their own challenge, that's for sure. It's going to be easier for me to do all one direction and then come back and do the other part. But you proceed, you know where you're at now. You proceed at your own pace. I know everybody's going to say to you, that looks really complicated, and you just enjoy the compliment, okay? This is definitely brain yoga and where you can get your Zen on. I like to do the inside ones now. I'm going to try to use the way the curve goes. I hope that makes sense to you. My curve goes this way, so I'm going to make these go that direction. That's it. I think I would also like to put a half a smile on the inside of each of these hearts. One side is more interesting than to do both. And then I want to start getting on my shading. For me, it's easier to put my initials on wherever I'm going to do that before I start shading. It's just a technique I've developed because I'm afraid that, you know, it's hard to know where to start and where to stop. So grab your pencil, whatever one you're using, and I'm going to start with shading around the MUMSY here. I want to leave that little amoeba shape to its own self so it stays white. And then I'm going to come along like this all the way around the outside of MUMSY. And I prefer to shade my entire piece before I come back and smudge. So if you're not ready for me with the smudging part, grab yourself a Q-tip, if that's what you're using, or a blender stump. They're very inexpensive at Michael's or Hobby Lobby, or whatever store you can go to. I'm going to also, on one side of this fun fescue that we have, I'm going to add a line on that, just one side. I'm going to add a line on one side of each of these leaves. I want the leaf to have the appearance of being lifted. The way I'm going to do that is I'm going to go around the inside with what's going to become a pretty hard line. And then I'm going to go around the outside with a line. My idea is to lift that off the page, the leaf. Kind of like you can see how the fescue is already lifted off the page with the little bit that we did. Okay, the inside first. And as you can see, I'm working on the side with my pencil, not as a writing tool, but more for the graphite of it. Very nice. So I'm going to go around to all of the side treatments, kind of watch what I'm going to do first. Where we have the hill, I'm going to add shading. Okay, that goes so fast, doesn't it? And I'd really like to add a little bit of shading to the outside of this, of just the top of the heart of the poke leaf. I'm always chasing my paper when I shade. Are you? You can spend a lot more time shading than you did drawing. That's just the way shading is. A lot of people do. They spend more time, and a lot of people really hate shading. So if you don't like it, don't do it. But if you want to start somewhere, I'd be glad to show you more anytime. Just text me or get on Emys Zen Friends, which is a Facebook site that you'd be welcome to join. Or I would be glad to give you a private lesson in shading. But I think you'll pick it up. It's up to you. There are some really cool books out there that I can recommend too if you like doing that. And I believe this Dragonfly on just the one side also needs a little shade. Just the one side. Now, I might have missed something, so I'm keeping my pencil handy, but I'm going to get started back at the beginning and push some of that out so that this little amoeba thing in the middle pops. I also want this MUMSY to pop off the page, and to get that, I'm going to leave the shading pretty tight. I'm not going to diffuse it. Nice, huh? I just love how this looks. Let's do our leaves. Darken that one side. I am not, like I mentioned to you before, I'm going to leave this close and dark as I can in order to give that leaf a rounded look. Let's do the rest of these leaves on the inside first. And you see I'm smudging. And I was pretty heavy with the graphite, and that's okay. Just the one side. Now, on the outside of the leaf, I'd like to smudge a little more. I'd like that to diffuse into the paper. See how I push that way out? That will help it lift or give the illusion of lifting off the page more. Let's do it over here too. Smudge it out, push. And then also onto my fescue. Looks like my blender stump is on its last legs here. Nice. Let's take a minute and start it. For me, I'm starting at Emmy. Smudge so that those hills look even more lifted than they are. I have plenty of shade on my blender stump now. So if I've missed anything, you probably are noticing the same thing. I don't really have to go back at this point and pick up my graphite and add more. And I'm back to the M. Okay, so let's do just the one side. Working on the top. Push. Diffuse again. And then the bottom. How fun is this? Push. I hope you like your shading. I hope you like what you did with me today. I think this is very fun, and I am real excited about the idea of standing it up. I have a wonderful quote for you that I found, and it seems so appropriate. It's just started to pour. Can you hear it? It's very pretty here. And please do like this video. It helps me so much to know that I'm on the right track with you, and subscribe to my channel. That's fun too. That lets me know that I'm doing the right thing. I appreciate your comments. Thanks so much. This is Emmy, and you're on Zen with Emmy. And come on over to Emys Zen Friends. I'd love to see you there too. Till we meet again. Bye, friends.